welcome to the Late Night Snacking Podcast.
We're your hosts, Devin and Anita, and this is our weekly podcast where we grab a blanket and some snacks and talk about all things relationships, growing pains, and navigating through, honestly, life itself.
We hope our experiences encourage others to grow to become the best versions of themselves, and for their relationships. Grab a snack and let's go! What is up, Snackers?
Yo, what's going on? What's going on?
Welcome
How y'all
back
doing?
to the pod.
How y'all feeling? And welcome to the Late Night Snacking Podcast.
The what?
The most honest podcast, the most open podcast, and the most wholesome podcast in the world.
Woo! Welcome back to the pod, y'all. Another Wednesday, another glorious day on the Late Night Snacking Pod. Welcome back for another week. This is a guest episode. So let's just go ahead and introduce our guest. Who we got here?
I got my man's $100,000 over here. The one and only, the beer pong champion, the beer pong legend himself.
Oh my God.
Who gave me the game. Mr. Charlie Taylor Jr.
Hey, what's up, late night snackers? But I'm over here cheesing from ear to ear, just sitting back listening to that intro. That was a hell of an intro.
Every episode.
I love that one. I was sitting here like, bro, I can't stop cheesing.
Legend, bro.
What's going on, snackers? I hope my clients ain't listening to Beer Pong Champ. That was back in my younger days, y'all.
Oh, yeah, this was throwback, Charlie Taylor. I don't know about this throwback.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah.
Charlie, where are you from? What do you do? How do we know you?
Yeah, lay it on them. Lay it on them.
Lay it on them. All right, late night snackers, as she said, I'm Charlie Taylor. I'm from South Carolina, specifically Sumter, South Carolina. Country boy, dirt road living. That's where I'm from.
SC, let's go. We in the house.
Yes, so, but I'm Charlie. I live here in Charlotte. I'm actually a therapist here now in Charlotte. I know you guys back in my younger days, as Devin just alluded to, from Columbia. That's where I met Devin years ago, and we've been friends ever since. I live here in Charlotte now. I actually had you guys on my podcast not too long ago.
Yeah, so the Right State of Mind
Right
podcast.
State of Mind.
If you ain't on it, get on it.
I was about to say, go check us out on that episode and go check him out anyway.
But yeah, I've been in Charlotte. I moved here in 2016 after school, after I graduated. And I came here and started my career as a therapist, and I've been doing that ever since.
Yeah. Well, we are so excited to have you on. You are one of our first guests that has some sort of like specialty that we want to tap into. Right. So we're really, really excited for that because we have some good questions, and I just feel like we're gonna like get into some really good stuff.
Yeah.
So
you the one for real.
Yeah.
You the one,
very
bro.
Excited.
Well, I appreciate it. I'm excited. Yes. Trust me, I always love, because I'm so used to me doing all the talking.
Right.
I am so excited to just sit back and answer questions. It's like I don't have to think as much right now.
There you go.
So I'm excited as well.
Very true. Very true. Good deal. So snackers, quick update on the calendar. Mm-hmm. Just a reminder. So obviously this Wednesday we have our guest episode. Next Wednesday we are hitting y'all with another guest episode, and then the last episode of the month will be our last pod episode for the year, and that will be with just me and Devin. And then, of course, like we promised, we will vlog and give y'all good stuff for Christmas time. So,
should we? I think we'll wait.
What?
The event. We'll wait.
You think so?
We'll wait. Yeah, we'll wait. Because we got plenty more episodes to go, so it's cool.
Okay.
Spoiler.
Just know we got something good coming for y'all before the year ends.
Yeah, y'all gonna
That's
love
all
this.
we're going to say. Why are you teased like that?
Seriously.
Stay tuned on the Late Night Snacking Podcast.
You got me wondering.
Got to hit that Diddy. What did he say? Watch this.
All right, y'all. Enough of the foolishness. Okay, so per usual, we shall get into what we are snacking on because it's only right. And then no Unpack the Snack. I don't know. I kind of want to reevaluate our Unpack the Unpack the Sack.
Whoa.
Pause.
Wow. What Mason Kane? Oh, that's crazy.
Oh my God. Okay. unpack the snack. I want to reevaluate it because I feel like it started off as like listener submissions, and then it kind of went to like us posting it for feedback on our page. And
Well, you know, they don't follow directions anyway, so.
oh boy,
Oh, if you didn't know, like I have like this love-hate relationship with our listeners. Like, I look like it's like they cool. I like them, but when it come to interaction, bro, like they don't be really wanting to talk to us for real, and it's kind of crazy. Like,
he very much.
and I be calling them out. Like,
Yeah.
I
Come on,
do that.
snackers, get on it.
Yeah, I be
Get on
doing
it.
that. I be doing that.
Okay, so stay tuned. If y'all have any ideas, I'm not. You know what? No, not even gonna ask
Yeah, nah, we ain't even.
because we're not gonna get feedback.
Yeah, nah. So we gonna leave y'all alone.
We'll reevaluate.
Just bring your
We'll-
ears.
We'll fix it and we'll
Don't
bring
bring
it
your
back.
ideas. Just bring your ears from now on.
Okay, so no unpack the snack, but we'll go around and talk about snacks. So first up, me.
In the Ziploc bags.
In the Ziploc bags. If you are watching on YouTube, you can see them right here. We've got some Ridge chips.
They
but
mom proof too, so
Mom proofed?
yeah. Like she packed like a snack.
Like a lunch?
Yeah, she's mom ready, y'all boys.
Oh my
No, I'm
God.
joking. I'm joking.
Unhinged.
Jokes.
Okay,
jokes.
let them know what flavor we have. Because this is kind of,
Oh.
yeah,
So we was in
this ain't no ordinary flavor.
we was in Aldi,
Mm-hmm.
and you know they be having that little section where they just might have some crazy stuff over there.
Always.
Like they might have pumpkin spice frosted flakes or something. Like it
Yeah,
just
yeah,
be
yeah.
something crazy over there. So we went over there, and we was like, we might as well get like some snacks for the podcast. And so I seen these turkey dressing flavored chips.
Turkey dressing.
Turkey dressing,
Tis the season, y'all.
brother.
I'm scared to even try that.
Hey, I don't know the brand because they're in Ziploc bags.
Clancy's.
Oh, shout out to Clancy's. Shout out to Clancy's. Clancy's be the chips are very proportioned. Like they wavy too.
Yeah, we like
Yeah.
a good Ridge.
Good and seasoned, bro. You can see the seasoning on the chips. Like
Yeah.
So shout out to Clancy's,
I
man.
thought those were the Lay's Ridge chips.
Right,
See?
right.
But
You
they
think
Clancy's the whole time. Crazy.
that's why you put them in the Ziploc bag.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Make it think something different.
So yeah, they turkey dressing flavored and
Like
I'm gonna have to
that's,
Google this later.
this is crazy, bro.
right.
'cause,
That's
like,
real wild. That's what we picked up.
turkey, like literally, I really wish we brought the bag. Like
I know, but it
turkey
really it
dressing flavor
tastes
is
like
crazy.
it though. It very much tastes like turkey stuffing.
It does.
It's good.
It does taste like Thanksgiving. I will.
Y'all should have just brought me one so we can just have a Thanksgiving dinner
I
and a podcast
know,
episode.
literally.
Might as well.
All right, Charlie, what you got?
Oh yeah, myself, I have some Lance salted peanuts, man. You know, I have a baseball background, and sunflower seasoned peanuts are a go-to snack
go-to.
for me.
Love that.
Yeah, so I had to grab that real quick.
Okay. So we got some good stuff going around the table. Love to see it. Okay. Do we feel ready to hop in to Le Topic?
Let's do it. Let's hop into it.
Bet. Okay. Oh, Lord, y'all. I got chips in my hair. just did not plan for this. Okay. Cool. So, Devin and I pretty much just wanted to tap into Charlie's expertise. So, we came up with some questions that kind of mix relationships with therapy and things like that, mental health. Because we just wanted to kind of tap into the mind of Charlie. So, very excited about this.
Oh God,
Beware. No kidding.
a little nervous. I got it though.
All right. You first, me first. How we feeling?
You first.
Oh, man. Okay.
Ashley put chips in the mouth.
Right. Sorry for the ASMR chewing over here. Okay. Charlie, what do you find most people gripe about relationship-wise in therapy?
I have a feeling these gonna be some questions that really make me think here, but I love it. I love it.
Sorry, we weren't trying to make you think too
Yeah.
hard.
No, this is good because as I told you guys before, relationships I feel like is one of the most common things I talk about in therapy because it's so relatable. I feel like everybody in some way, even if they didn't even come to me for that initially,
Yeah.
you know, they end up having some sort of relationship issue.
Yeah.
So the question was, what do most people gripe about when it comes to relationships?
Yeah. Like, what do you hear comes up the most that people kind of just like either complain about or have an issue with relationship-wise?
I would probably say is twofold. I would probably say communication issue of some sort that kind of goes into the next thing I'm going to say, which is like understanding. Like understanding kind of like where I'm coming from, or if I said something or if I'm doing something, which I think is understandable, because when you bring two different types of people together, it takes a lot of work to work as one.
Yeah.
So I usually is some kind of gripe with that.
Yeah.
So like an understanding, and it can be of anything. It can be understanding of a certain behavior. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna change my answer. Like that is the main one.
Behavior?
Yes. Just because when somebody comes to me, it's usually of a mental health issue that they have. Let's say anxiety, for example.
Okay.
One thing I see a lot of, especially with guys, I'm just gonna tell us, Devin, like being a therapist, I love my guys. But when it comes to mental health stuff, we got some work to do.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So
I agree.
I would say, like, for anxiety, if let's say the female has anxiety in their like they've been having that issue for a while. If a guy doesn't have it, a lot of guys really struggle to understand
What it is.
why my partner's acting like this or why they say this. So I would say that, like, communication and understanding of your partner.
Yeah.
Because usually, like, if I'm mad at my partner, it's probably because of something I'm trying to get them to understand that they're
Yeah.
not understanding.
Yeah.
So that would be my answer.
Do you feel like people, like when that comes up and they're expressing that to you, do you feel like it's people trying to get you to take their side? Or do you think it is that like understanding that they're seeking from like somebody?
Maybe a little bit of both, just because I think when it comes to emotions, people like to have their emotions validated. So like if
Yeah.
I'm venting to you about something, I think people like that comfort of like,
Sure.
I'm not crazy. Like,
Right.
you know, what I'm saying does make sense.
Yeah.
So I think maybe a little bit of both. They're trying to make sure, like, not necessarily on their side, but like just to understand where they're coming from.
Yeah.
Neutral
And they
ground.
want their partner to kind of understand where they're coming from.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah. But I think it's hard though, just because,
Totally.
like I said, if you have never had it, like let's say I've never experienced anxiety, I've been kind of calm all my life. Like that's kind of for me. If it wasn't for my background in school and trainings and all that, I could see myself being like that too, coming from where I come from.
Yeah.
Like I'm not as understanding and probably looking at somebody like, well, why do you act like that? Or it's not that big of a deal. It's not nothing to trip over, or something
Right.
like that.
Yeah.
So I understand it, but I think it's a common problem in relationships.
Sure. Devin, quick question for you, since this is something that like we deal with, like as for you, like having a partner with anxiety and stuff like that. I think we've talked about this on an episode, but like, so he's saying like sometimes it's hard for the partner that does not have it to understand where the other partner's coming from. I personally think that you do a good job with that. Why do you think, like, do you put yourself in my shoes, or like what is your way of like trying to understand what I'm going through?
Honestly, just kind of like paying attention to one, the conversations that we do have about it, like things that you like to take place, like when you're having anxiety, like things that calm you down and help you out. Like I intake that internally, and then when the time comes, perform my duty. Yeah, so
Stay strapped.
I
Okay.
was about to say, good answer. He said, perform my duty. He threw me off.
yeah, right. You know, I do my due diligence. You know, I do what I'm supposed to do.
That's good answer.
So, yeah, like, I mean, and you know, I've said that before. Like before, I didn't really get it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I knew what it was. I'd always heard about it, but didn't really know like what it looked like on a person.
Yeah.
So to see it like live, it's just like okay, you know what I mean? Like I probably felt like that in some type of setting once
Sure.
before. So, yeah.
Your turn.
So, what makes therapy any different than what makes therapy any better, than talking to a close friend, like talking to a therapist?
I'm loving this interview already. I'm loving this. I'm here for my mental health professionals right now.
Hey.
What makes it different than talking to a friend?
Or what makes therapy like more, you know what I mean?
Better? So don't get me wrong. There's benefit in both now.
Okay.
There's benefit in both. Like I can share something with a friend, which I've done. Like everybody's done that where you're going through something and you're venting to somebody that's close to you. And it's not to say there's no value in it, but would you go to a mechanic about legal issues?
Absolutely not.
Because the mechanic is there because he's trained to work on cars.
Right.
And that's his expertise. The difference is, and I'm not trying to rag on like your everyday person, but most people aren't trained and educated to properly understand what a diagnosis of what somebody's going through to know how to deal with it.
Right.
Like if I'm a friend, I can help support you.
Sure.
But if I don't fully know what anxiety is from a biological standpoint, like inside your body, like what's going on, not just you're anxious,
Right.
I'm only going to be limited in the way I can help you.
Right.
Okay.
It's the same thing with a doctor. Like you ever been to a doctor and they send you to a specialist on maybe
Right.
foot or something like that.
Yeah.
It's because this person, he specializes on this.
Yeah.
Like this is his thing or her thing. So I think the thing that makes it better, I don't know if I like that word, like just more valuable is you go to somebody who's necessarily educated and trained to work on whatever topic. Like for therapists, there are so many different type of therapists.
Right.
You know, people who are licensed in different things and work on different things. So I think the value is having somebody that's really capable of working on whatever issue you have going on versus your everyday, like your friend or your family member or somebody close to you.
Yeah.
And then you probably get I imagine you probably get information, like unbiased, like information at that too.
Oh yeah, that and,
Yeah.
and,
You know what I
and
mean?
that's
Because
the
your
other
friends
thing.
are probably gonna tell you everything you want to hear because
Yes.
they
Yeah.
know how you are. Like,
Yes.
Yeah.
So they don't want to like say anything that might set you off or something. Which a therapist is probably gonna tell you
Right.
what you need to hear versus what you want to hear.
For sure. And that is a great point because I always say, I think the thing that allows me to do my job is like I have no dog in the fight. Like I have
you have no connection to
I have no bias.
Yeah.
I really don't even know the people that they're talking about. So I'm
Right.
I'm just giving you, you know, some information or my opinion on something from an unbiased standpoint where I have no emotional tie in it.
Exactly.
Versus like, so I'm a therapist, but let's say my mom is venting to me about something. Even though I'm a therapist, I'm probably gonna have some kind of emotional bias because that's my mom.
Right.
Sure.
Like I love my mom. I'm probably gonna have her side a little bit, even if I say I'm not having her side.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm usually pretty honest, but even still, I have an emotional tie because of my bond with this person.
Right.
So stuff like that. That is a great point. I think it's better when it comes from an unbiased person who has no emotional tie in the situation. So anything I'm giving this person is really, like I said, unbiased, just what I think about the situation versus like the people.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a good point. Yeah. So you've done couples therapy, right? Like where couples come in and talk about their own relationship issues and things like that. Do you do that now or no?
So technically, yes, but maybe not in the way you're thinking. So yes, I did that. I'll tell y'all right now. So now I do it only if like a client that I have, because the most thing I do is individual therapy is kind of what I do.
Okay.
But if I've been working with somebody and they have an issue in their relationship, they can bring their partner in for like a couple sessions to work on whatever they have going on.
Oh,
but I
that's
don't
really
like
neat.
advertise that I offer or couples counseling
Yeah.
on the regular.
Right.
So I used to. It is a lot of work.
I'm sure.
and I felt like a referee a lot of times.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of people who do it. I know a lot of other therapists who like that's their specialty. That's kind of like all they do.
Sure.
More power to them.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I think but I advocate it all the time. Like I have clients now where it's like an ongoing thing in their relationship, and maybe they need like long-term couples therapy.
Okay.
So I will refer them to somebody who like that's their specialty.
Sure.
And they do it because I know whatever they're talking about is not going to be solved in a couple sessions.
Right.
So I will refer, say, hey, maybe y'all need couples therapy. If both sides agree, I can send them or refer them to another person.
Yeah.
But I like, sorry to cut you off.
Oh no, go ahead.
But I earlier in my career, I did it a pretty good bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh. I can't even imagine.
Yeah, I know that's probably like a lot.
Oh yeah.
Even just like being, because I feel like me and you are kind of like sometimes we're the mediator friend where like the couple wants to like ask us questions. Like,
If you're the empath friend, like you get
Yes.
destroyed.
oh,
Like,
100%.
you get slammed, bro. Because it's kind of like you
Yes.
take that personal, even though it literally has nothing to do with you. But it's just like
Especially if you're like friends with both people.
Exactly.
It's like you were saying before,
Yep.
like there's an emotional tie and it just makes
Right.
it hard. So I can't even imagine like having to just take the facts for what it is from what they're both saying and then trying to like
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
mediate a little bit. Yeah.
Man, let me
That's
Trying to
Can I
get
tell
them
y'all
to
a quick
hear each
story?
other.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
So I think this was, I want to say this was my last experience because this was private practice, I think. And I think this was the most draining part. So what I used to do sometimes is a couple would come in and sometimes instead of doing the whole hour with both in there, you would pull one for like 15 minutes. You would pull the other for 15 and the rest of the 30 minutes would be both of them.
Sure.
Now, let me tell you, because the thing I thought that was so funny is the interaction when they were both in there together versus when I had them one-on-one.
Two totally different
It
things.
was like unfiltered, like I don't know, like he doing this and he doing that, and I used to
Stop.
say like, why don't you tell him that? Like,
Right.
why don't you say that to
Right.
him or her when they're in here? So like, it felt like I was that middle person, like
Yeah.
trying to like do so much
middleman.
work.
Yeah.
It almost felt like 3 different clients,
Right.
them individually and them together. That's what
Right.
it felt like. Like, yeah, looking back right now, I can laugh, but in there, I was like, good God. You ever seen the,
Going through it.
yeah, you ever seen the Popeyes meme with the woman on the hands?
Yeah,
on
yeah,
it?
yeah.
That was me. Doing the couples therapy. That was me.
Burnt out, tired.
Tired. I was like, man, they don't want to listen.
So,
When you the trained professional at that, like,
Oh, my God.
why
oh
wouldn't
yeah,
you listen
yeah.
to me?
I'm telling you.
You mean to tell me you're gonna give me your money and I'll listen to me? That's crazy. That's nuts. There's no way I'm doing that.
Dang.
Good work, but it's work.
I'm
No, I believe
sure.
it.
So for couples that are coming in, like, say they're not married yet, maybe they've been together for a little while, and they're having issues and are wanting to come in for like couples counseling or couples therapy. In your opinion, like, is that kind of already boding not well for the couple if they're already having to like do counseling before? Or is it good that they're wanting to work out these issues before making a large decision like getting engaged, getting married? Like, I don't know. Is
Right.
it like, is it a negative thing that they're like already fighting this much to where they're having to go to therapy? Or is it like a good thing that they're wanting to like work these things out
Actually go, right?
before? Right. Like,
All right. Well, first of all, I think that's a great question, by the way,
yeah.
because my answer, first off, is the latter. I think it's a good thing.
Yeah.
But I have heard that many times where it's like, what does this mean if we're already having problems and
Right,
we got to
right.
go to therapy? I think it's actually a good sign
Yeah.
because so being in like if you've ever been in a relationship, even in a happy one, like I'm in a happy one now, but you still have problems. Like
Yeah, absolutely.
you still have
It's inevitable.
conflict that goes on in the relationship. So
Sure.
one of the things that therapy can equip people with is the ability to kind of manage difficult emotions and learn how to solve problems together through like communication and things like that. So I think it's actually a good thing. I think and I can get into something else, but I think it's part of our problem with our society. Like any sign of trouble or work, a lot of people run.
Yep.
Whereas I'm like, if you talk to anybody who's been married for a long time or like been in a long-term relationship, they talk about they have to do that all the time. So
Yeah.
it's never really, even if you love somebody, like it's not going to be all sunshine and roses
Right.
the whole relationship. So I don't think that's a bad thing. Obviously, it probably depends on what is going on. Like
Sure.
as long as it's not something like super toxic or something like that.
Yeah.
But like disagreements or understanding kind of what I was saying earlier, I think it's a good thing if you go because the hope is to learn how to navigate that together and
Right.
solve whatever the problem is.
Right.
So I think it's a good thing.
Yeah.
You
I
know.
agree. I think so too. I agree with the point of like definitely in today's time that people, you know, the marriage and stuff, like it sounds pretty and then they realize that there has to be like work that goes into the relationship and then they don't want to stay or don't want to put in the work. So I agree. I don't think it's a bad thing to want to go work out those problems. I think some people just genuinely need help with communicating things like that to each other, depending on what the issues are. So yeah, I agree. I think it's a good thing.
Yeah, and it kind of goes like what I said earlier. I really want people to understand. Like a lot of the problem is understanding. So
Yeah.
like, let's say you are one of those couples where you're having problems and you see it as a bad thing. One of the things that therapy can provide is like if I'm having that conflict with my partner, my partner might be going through something or dealing with something that I'm unaware of. Like I don't even know what the struggle is.
Yeah.
And if a person like a therapist can like educate me on, well, maybe it would be helpful if you like, this is how you work with your partner on this
Sure.
issue. That can like, it's like a light bulb moment of like, okay, so whatever problem we've been having, like one of the things I always say is we all act the way we do for a reason.
Yeah.
Whatever that reason is. A lot of times upbringing, learned behavior, it can be anything. So like nobody's acting away just out of nowhere.
Right.
So whatever your partner's doing or not doing, I'm telling you, there's a reason for it.
Yeah.
It can be a good reason, it can be a bad reason, but you having an understanding on what that reason is, it gives you a better chance to kind of navigate that relationship. So I think that's one of the benefits of going to therapy.
Yeah. I think so too.
Great insight.
Well, it's
Great. No,
it's hard to take too seriously.
but he always does me like that. I can say something like so serious, and he just bust out laughing. I'm like,
Because it's that
golly, Charlie, like,
Well, I was going to say, like, it's the same thing with individual therapy.
yeah,
A person is, a lot of time people are battling themselves. So when they
Yeah.
come to a therapist and the therapist can shed light on, this is what you're going through, this is what you got, then it's like, oh, well, now I can like handle it better, hopefully.
Right.
Same thing in relationships, or at least that's the hope.
Right.
There's never a guarantee,
Right.
but that's the hope.
Yeah. That makes
all
sense.
right. Are you able to read people in a session before they speak?
Ooh.
Because I know as being look, and I
can't
ain't trying to
advertise
get you in
it.
trouble. I promise you, I'm not. But as a therapist, I know that they teach you like pay attention to body language and like
Yes.
the types of breathing, everything like that. So it's like, are you able before somebody can even get it out their mouth? Like, do you already know like where the session gonna go? I feel like you
You mean
can.
like on the first meeting or like,
yeah, like on the first meeting. Like I feel like
I
sometimes
gotta be careful I
you can tell.
advertise this. I don't want my class listening to this. I'm just kidding. I'm gonna say yes in a way of like I usually have a good idea. Like I'm big.
Okay.
I'm big on body language, but I'm super big on energy.
Right.
Like I feel energy. So it's hard to pinpoint because you don't know somebody.
Right.
But I usually have a pretty good idea because like this like it's crazy to say I feel so old saying this, but like this going on my 9th year doing this. Like I've been doing this for a while.
I
So-
didn't know you were doing this for this long.
Man, come on, man. Don't do me like that. Just kidding.
like Kevin Hart. Damn.
I knew you were about to say that. I knew you were about
Stop.
to say
That's
that.
funny.
So anyway, it's like so I have sat across from so many different people. I feel like I literally feel like I've met just about every type of person in the world.
That's
Okay.
so
Like
interesting.
I feel like
That
I've met
is.
so many different people
yeah.
that certain things kind of resurface like, oh, like, you know, I've been around that type of person, things like that. So like, yes, I usually will have a good, like I say, I can't pinpoint it because I don't know what's about to come out of their mouth. Like they could just be nervous or something like that. But I usually have a good sense of in the ballpark of what may be going on.
Okay.
That's just like
Y'all got
it-
some questions.
no, it's so interesting. Like I haven't really thought about that. Like the fact that you've seen like so many
Right.
types of people with like all different types of problems. Like, and then of course like there's gonna be repeat of things and
Right.
yeah.
Because it's honestly, that's a goal. Like that's like a goal of mine. Like that's like a hidden goal. Like I never even talk about that. But just
What,
being
meet
able, being able to meet like every type of person in the world. Like, cause she'll tell you like, I like meeting people. We could literally be anywhere. And I can make a friend
Child,
anywhere.
Listen.
Talk about
I'd be
anything.
like,
Yeah.
take me
Like,
home.
it's people think it's weird, but I just enjoy like, you know what I'm saying? Like you get
Yeah.
to know somebody and like
yeah.
listen to their stories to find out like how they became to be the person that they are. You know what I mean? Like,
it is fun. It can
it's
be,
interesting.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
good. It can be draining too, but
I'm sure.
it is interesting for sure.
Quick question on that, because you just pinpointed it where you said it could be draining. Like, do you feel like sometimes that you're taking the weight of other people's problems? Like,
yeah.
does that feel heavy on you sometimes, depending on like what types of backgrounds you're hearing? Like, do any of them like strike anything in you or
Right.
like?
It's funny you asked that. I had a client ask me that yesterday.
Oh, really?
Actually, yeah, because she was thinking about on the way to the session. She said, "I have a question for you as a therapist," and she kind of asked the same thing.
Yeah.
So, for me individually, no, I don't think I carry the weight of people. I don't think I allow myself to because I don't really see a way I could do my job effectively like that.
Exactly.
Because I meet so many different people. Like if I carry the weight of, I empathize with people.
Sure.
Right.
So like, but carrying the weight of it, no. Now there are people, if I'm being honest, like just as a human being, if somebody has something that I could really, get on their level, like I've been there or I've gone through that, or I know somebody close, like a family member. Of course, those kind of hit you a little bit different. But there's like a line where like, once the session's over, I can kind of cut it off and move on.
Right.
But in the session, I empathize with people.
That's good.
Because that kind of allows me to actually help a
Right.
person. But as far as carrying the weight, I don't think I carry the weight. Some people may, I don't know. But I don't think I just don't see how as a therapist meeting that many people, you could carry the weight. I feel like that would really hinder
Yeah.
a person's ability
Right.
to do the job effectively. But
Yeah.
but of course you empathize and you sympathize and you kind of understand where they're coming from and you try to help them the best you can. But I think in the helping profession, you have to know boundaries of when to cut it off.
Right.
And
Absolutely.
and move on.
Yeah. See,
So-
I could never.
And so many people I've heard that throughout my whole career. Like, how do you do that? I would be in there crying. And I mean, it's
telling
not
you.
over crying, but like, yeah, I've heard that so many times. I don't know how you do it.
Yeah, like I don't know. It's like I'm an empath, but it's almost like I'm like too much, like to
Right.
where it affects me. Like,
Yes.
so I think it's probably been like a month now. So really freak situation to where my coworker got a phone call that her brother passed, like while we were at the job, like while we're at work and we're all sitting in our cubicles and stuff. So like, she breaks down like screaming, crying because like nobody wants to hear that in like the middle of their workday. So literally from that, like that affected me for like a whole week. Like I literally felt like depressed for a whole week, and I'm like, I barely know her. I don't know her brother from a can of paint, can of paint. But like, I was like, why is this affecting me so much? But like, I don't know. I think I'm just like too much of an empath.
Right.
Like,
Yeah, girl,
one-
you be going through it as a
I'd be
therapist.
going through, yeah, like, that's what I'm saying. I could never.
Because you hear it all in there.
Listen,
I won't say that is like one thing that kind of like hindered me from kind of taking that path. 'Cause
that route.
I mean, like me and you had a conversation about like careers and like therapy and stuff. I told you
Yeah.
I was kind of like thinking about going into it, but that's one like just being able to like hold on to all of that like baggage or whatever from somebody. I won't call it baggage, but like all that stuff from somebody else, and then you have your own stuff going on too. Like that's a lot for just one single human being. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's what he's saying. The boundaries, like being able to switch it and
Right.
flip it off. Like, there's no off button for me.
Yeah, you got to know, like, and this is one of the things I tell a lot of people is you have to know, like, have a mindset to tap into.
Yeah.
Because I learned this early in my career. When I set a goal to be a therapist, what I thought that was like me being a person where I sit in front of somebody, they tell me their problems, I fix their problems.
Yeah.
and that be it.
That's what my thought was when
Right.
when I like first got into it. I thought of like this, I'm the Superman, I'm about to save the world kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right.
You learn very quickly.
That ain't.
I cannot do that.
That is not the case.
I cannot. That's a lot of pressure. I cannot do that. So now, like once I learned that, it was like I tell clients now, like I can't save your life. I can't solve your problems. I can help you save your life, and I can help you solve your problems.
Right.
But I alone can't do that.
Right.
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 So like by me saying that, what that clicks in my mind is like I'm not taking that pressure of like being the save all person here.
Right. Right.
Because in therapy, it's a 50-50 thing now.
Yep.
There you go. It could
So,
work
like-
and it couldn't work.
Yeah, it sounds like that, but a lot of people come in there thinking that you're supposed to solve
You
their
are
problems.
there,
though.
yeah.
Right.
So I have to like say
Demanding
that.
answers.
Yeah, I have to say that. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not here to solve your problems. I can help you solve your problems, but
Right.
I alone cannot solve your problems.
Yeah.
So I think it's just a mindset, and that's part of that boundary. So I don't allow my mind to go to like save a person
Yeah.
because again, I feel like that's you setting yourself up.
Yeah.
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 They only meet with you for an hour, man. It's,
Right.
It's 23 other hours in the day.
Yep.
Ain't no telling what they're doing with them.
Exactly.
Those 23 hours.
Exactly.
So.
I have an interesting one for you.
Ah,
So, as a therapist, do you find yourself like using those tools and maybe like over analyzing your own relationship issues or things like that? Or do you feel like it makes you a better like communicator and like understanding partner?
I think I understand. So you're saying like does being a therapist does it help me in my relationship?
Right.
analyze
Does it
them?
help or hurt? Like, or a little
Like
bit of
basically,
both?
do you use some of your do you use like your techniques like in your relationship?
Yeah.
Like, do you find yourself
Mostly,
kinda like,
no, I'm like, so maybe a little bit of both technically, like communication skills.
Yeah.
Something like that. But as far as keeping my therapist hat on, hell no. Because I know my partner.
right?
Yeah.
If I did that, it would not be received well. So
Sure.
I try not to like go into preaching. Like whenever I become a dad, I already know I got to like be mindful
Yeah.
of not trying to lecture somebody.
Sure.
Because I can go there like about a topic like you got to understand blah blah blah, but like not just in my relationship. I think I've always like around my friends or my family, I've never tried to be the person to come in and educate somebody on something because I don't want to be like a know-it-all
Sure.
or anything like that. So I think I've done a good job of like I take the therapist hat off
Yeah.
when I'm around my people.
Yeah.
Probably because I'm tired too. I am trying to be a therapist.
You're right.
You know, I've already done my therapy job. So in my relationship, like I use skills like my communication skills and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
as far as trying to lecture somebody about how to work on something or how to do something,
Yeah.
I try not to. Now it might come out sometimes because you're human, but I try to be
Yeah.
mindful of that though.
Yeah.
Because it's not going to be received well.
Sure.
Like, so I try not to do that.
Yeah. I feel like it's tough. But same thing with I don't know if she's listening to this, hopefully not, but like my previous roommate that had a falling out with or whatever the case, she was a teacher and it was very hard for her to like separate the teacher hat from like the friend hat from like the roommate hat. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
everybody wears different hats for different
Right.
times and it was like hard for her to like separate who she was like to her kids versus who she was like around like other people. So yeah, I feel like it's hard to do that when you're like really, really into your job, but like you have to.
Oh, I'm telling you. And
Yeah.
I think it is super hard. So I would be lying if I sat here and said I've never done that. Like I've never like said something and come off as that.
Yeah.
Because I think when it's the hardest is when you know this is
Right.
how something is supposed to go.
Yeah.
Like I know better than this. Like and I know the
Yeah.
way that you're handling it is not the right way to handle it.
Right.
So this is where I got to get creative because I can't. Like you have to work on your delivery. Like you have
Yeah.
to say it in a
Right,
way
right.
where it can be received well.
Yeah.
And that's hard. I've messed up plenty of times.
Yeah.
Same.
But like that's when it's tough is when you're like she ain't handling. Like this ain't how you're supposed to
Right,
handle
this
that.
is
But
not it.
this ain't it. But I can't come across like this is what you need to do.
Right. Right.
So I have to get creative with my communication skills.
Yeah.
When it comes to that. So like that's where it's the most challenging when
Yeah.
you know for a fact like this ain't how you're supposed to handle this.
Right.
Yeah. But it's good that you're like mindful of
Yeah.
that though. 'Cause that's
Yeah.
where it starts. So.
Oh yeah, because I've heard it. Don't be trying to therapize me. I've heard it before.
Not therapized.
I've heard that from family members. I heard that from a partner. Like I feel like I'm one of your clients. I've heard it.
Oh, I'm about to say,
I've heard it.
That's the go-to right
that's
there.
funny.
I'm telling you. So yeah, like when you're human, it's going to come out in some ways,
Sure.
but for the most part, just trying to be mindful of like, nah, maybe I
Yeah.
should go about it this way.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, as somebody who, I guess, who's going to therapy or whatever, what should be like their expectations? Like, what should they kind of keep in mind walking in? Should they keep an open mind? Should they already kind of have like an idea of, what they want to talk about? Should they have like a list of questions or something? Like,
Yeah. Oh, I know if you were done.
yeah, that's pretty much it.
I think both. I think you should definitely be open because there's so
Okay.
many possibilities. Like, like there's some people where they come in and they want to go one way, and we end up going a different way or something like that. So you got to kind of be open, but I think you should also be prepared. Just because as a therapist, like that's probably the one thing that makes my job the toughest is when I have somebody who is not necessarily prepared. Like they don't necessarily know what they want to talk about or what they want to work on and that kind of thing. Because now I'm like pulling teeth and trying to figure it out.
Right.
Whereas I always recommend clients, I say like before you come to a session, have an idea of like what you want to talk about, what you want to work on, like write it down. And that way, because when you come to me and like, this is what's been bothering me this week, or this is what I want to talk about. Now now I know like, okay, boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
Because like, this is the thing. Nobody knows you better than you now.
Yeah.
So like if I've been dealing or struggling with something, you're not going to know that unless I like tell you.
Right.
So I think it's helpful when you kind of know, like, okay, this is what I've been struggling with, and you come prepared in the session. Now you don't have to do that for every single session, but I'm thinking like for the most part, because this is the one thing. This happens in relationships and in therapy sessions. You ever notice, like in a relationship, when you know somebody, you expect that person to read your mind
Right.
because like they know me, they should know, he should know.
Yeah.
I feel like people think therapists should know, and like they should know what's like. You should know
Right.
what to do.
Sure.
And I'm telling everybody, I could be the best therapist in the world, but I cannot read your mind.
Right.
I can't read your mind. So you like for me to help you best, you got to tell me.
Yeah.
You got to let me know, or at least give me an idea.
Yeah, come with something.
You got to come with something. You got to come with something. But I'm telling you, I've had people that they sit down and it's like, all right, Charlie, what's up? What we going to talk about today? Shit, I don't know. You tell me. It's your life.
I told her, I told Anita that. I was like, I don't like, not that there's anything wrong that I think, but I want to go to therapy. Like, I just feel like everybody should
100%.
go at least once in their
For
life,
sure.
you know?
Yeah.
But my thing is like, I wouldn't know where to start or what to talk about. I would literally go in there and just probably stare at the woman or the guy in the face, like, and just be like,
Yeah.
I just kind of be here for the experience.
Well, I guess why would you want to go? Like, not that you feel like anything's wrong, but
Well, because I feel like everybody should go at least once in their life.
just to talk.
Yeah, just to kind of like, I guess to tap in to like an inner, deeper self. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think
Understand
that's
yourself
easy
better?
to really channel.
Yeah.
I don't think that's really easy to channel by yourself.
Right.
Like, of course, you probably can go through something traumatic or something crazy, and they'll kind of bring up some things inside of you. But I think a more organic way is just honestly just talking to somebody.
Yeah.
You know,
But I think that's a good place to start,
You can
though.
start there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at
Yeah.
too.
Like when you give
Yeah.
somebody something like that, that's a place where they can start though. Because then you can ask questions of like, what led you to think that or what led you
Right.
to feel that. So you don't have to know like exactly when you go in there.
Right.
Yeah.
And here's the beautiful thing about a therapy relationship is like when you get to know somebody and you've seen them enough times, like y'all develop that relationship to where like it's easier to talk to them about. So like I have clients I've been seeing for almost like 2 years now.
That's awesome.
And it's
okay.
like those are the people where when I go get them out the lobby, I already know what type of mood they're in. I already know if they feeling good, they feeling anxious. I've been around them and I've talked to them enough
Yeah.
to know.
know.
Like I've seen people I go to the lobby and I'm
to read.
like, oh, it's about to be one of them sessions. Or I see them like, oh, you're in a good mood today. So I think like when you get to know somebody like that, I've obviously not maybe in the first session, maybe, but most of the time, like if you get to know somebody, y'all can develop that kind of relationship where they get to know you so they know the right questions to ask you about certain things. And then on your end, you know, you feel it's comfortable to share certain things.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but that was a good place to start, right? That's all you really got to say.
Oh, see, here I am thinking I ain't got nothing. I'm just
No,
gonna come in there,
that's
sit
why
on
I
the couch
asked you. I
and
was
just
like,
smile
what
at
made
everybody.
you
Like,
think that? Because there's something there for sure.
Yeah. I'll tell you right now, if you say that to a therapist, I bet money they start asking about your childhood.
100%.
That's usually where it starts.
Yeah,
bro.
well, when
That's
you say
usually where
my
it
deeper
starts.
inner self, that starts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That starts in
A long
childhood.
time ago. Yeah. Yeah. That's true. In your opinion, what do you think is the best way to prioritize your own mental health in a relationship?
Ooh, your own. You threw me a curveball. I thought you were gonna go a different way with that one. How to prioritize your own mental health in a relationship.
Yeah.
So my rule of thumb is like you have to make your mental health a priority. So the beautiful thing about our bodies is, and I don't want to sound like a teacher right now. The beautiful thing about our bodies is like your body usually tells you
Yeah.
like things, what's going on with you. Like if I'm tired, my body's telling me I need rest.
Right.
So like if a person listens to their body and listens and pays attention to what's going on, it's kind of telling you what you need, you know, whether I need some self-care. So I think you really have to make it a point to be mindful and put that time aside for yourself to give you like what you need.
Yeah.
Kind of like what I said earlier is nobody knows you better than you. So pay attention to like, what do I need right now?
Yeah.
And in a relationship, it can be tough because you prioritize the relationship
Sure.
and you want to make sure that's good. So you put a lot of energy towards that. But I think to be the best possible version of yourself in a relationship, you got to make sure you're good.
Yeah.
So I think
100%.
kind of like the old analogy of an airplane when the oxygen masks, whenever they come down,
Yep.
you know, everybody's initial reaction is to save everybody else, but you should save yourself first so you can save everybody else.
Right.
It's the same way in relationships. You know, for me to be the best partner, I need to make sure I'm good.
Yeah.
So prioritizing it, you know, giving yourself that time you need and really sitting down and taking it serious. I think that's
Yeah.
the problem. I meet so many people that tell me their goals in therapy. Oh, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to do. But unfortunately, what happens is it's just lip service. It's just like stuff they say in a session.
Yeah.
Like I said, they only meet me for an hour.
Right.
The real work is what you do in those other 23.
Right.
So it's like I can say that, but if I go home and don't make any changes, it's really not going to change.
Yeah.
So if I'm saying I want to prioritize my mental health in anything, in relationships, in my work, anything, I have to take that seriously and like plan that out. Like, what does
Yeah.
that look like? Do I set time aside? Like all that, like what my schedule looks like.
Yeah.
So I think it's really just like being mindful and making it a priority the same way you make the important things in your life a priority.
Yeah.
Whenever something important to you, you make it a priority.
100%.
Like, okay, I'm gonna set time aside for this because it's this. Like work, I gotta pay my bills, so I gotta make sure I show up for work. I gotta make sure I'm on time. Those type
Yeah.
of things. So if your mental health and your self care is serious, you gotta make it a priority, and that's a you thing.
Yeah.
You know, like I can say it as I can recommend it,
Right.
but it's up to you to do it.
Yeah.
So it's really just making it a priority and being mindful.
Yeah, agreed. Last week we talked about, I think we've entitled the episode like "Who Am I Without My Partner" or something like that.
Like an identity crisis type.
Yeah, having an identity crisis of like not knowing yourself outside of who you are as a partner because you've kind of like meshed and
Yes.
like you're kind of molding into like your partner a little bit and like you're picking up things that they're doing and like
While she's wearing my sweater right now.
sure am.
See what I'm saying?
Love
Sure am.
Love it. She said, sure, yeah. Love it.
It's crazy out here in these streets, y'all boys.
But one thing we talked about was finding that individuality. If you feel like you've lost it, like really working on that outside of your partner and prioritizing things that either like you miss about yourself or things that you used to do before you were in that relationship that you used to like to do, but maybe you don't do it anymore. So I feel like it's kind of the same way with the mental health. Like you have to really set time aside and make it really intentional, something that is like just for you and not feel guilty that you're like being a little bit selfish almost. Because that's okay. Just like you said, I agree. I think it makes you a better partner when you're taking care of yourself because you can't take care of your partner if you're not taking care of yourself. So
Yeah. For sure. Just because when you think about anybody you have a good relationship with, whether it's your partner, a friend, or family member, think about like what makes that relationship good.
yeah,
It's usually like the time we spend together, that sort of thing, the things that we do. You really got to have a good relationship with yourself.
yeah,
Like
Facts.
So it's
Yeah.
it sounds kind of weird, but it's like for me to really tap into that, I should like have a relationship with myself. Like who am I outside of my partner or
Yeah.
Right.
family or whoever it is? Like spend time with yourself. Almost
Yeah.
like date yourself. I know that some
Yes.
people might think that sounds weird, but
We be saying that.
I
It's
think
so
I think it's
true.
true though. Like
Yeah.
for me, I have to do that.
Yeah.
Because a lot of my mental energy is spent on other people.
other people. Yep.
And it's like that's like I said, like if I'm not careful, like this happens. It happened a little bit right now. If I'm being honest, like if you don't pay attention to it, you can get burnt out.
Yeah.
So like if all my energy is on clients, all my energy is on my family, all my energy is on my partner, when is the energy on Charlie? You know what I'm saying? So like
Yeah.
I have to make that a priority. So for me, like I know what that looks like though. Like I know the time I spend for myself.
Yep.
You know, last week I went fishing like twice in the week, which that ought to tell you. But that's
You
like
had a week, huh? No.
oh my God. Like, well, it was the first time I had some time and I've been like
Yeah.
trying to do that because
That's awesome.
to me, that's the most like peaceful place in the world for me.
Yeah.
When I'm like on the water, like no problems, nobody saying like that's like my little zone.
Yeah.
So like I know that I needed that. Like I needed like my little time to do that, and then once I get done, then it's back to the real world.
Right.
But like that was just me paying attention to my body. Like I feel I'm tired. I've been doing sessions and sessions and sessions. So I took that time away and I was like, all right, Wednesday in the morning from this time to lunch, I'm gonna go fishing.
Yeah.
Like that's what you got to do. So like you just got to know what you need, and everybody's needs are different. It's just about knowing what do I need to make sure I'm good.
Yeah.
So
Agreed.
Makes sense.
We are winding down on our last 10-ish minutes here. Do
dang,
you?
really?
I know we were.
I'm about to say, I lost track of time. I was just sitting here talking.
I love it. Do you have any other questions?
No, I think we're done interrogating.
Interrogating, you
Mr.
stupid.
Taylor here, so
Not interrogating.
Man said interrogating.
Okay, I have one more. So we talked about this before. Like, you've sat in front of many people, you've seen many faces, heard many stories. So as somebody who has been in that many positions, I guess, to hear from other people, what advice do you have for those? One, starting therapy, and then two, what just like general relationship advice do you have? So a little two-parter.
For starting therapy, I would say keep an open mind. Like, keep an open mind, and really try to have an awareness of like, or knowledge on what you're trying to work on. So like, if I'm trying, like, tap into what, like, I guess the best way I think about it is when I, like, what would it take for me to be the best version of myself? Like, what would that look like? What do I need? And what do I need to work on? Now, that takes self-awareness.
100%.
So, like, there's some people with problems and they feel like there's nothing wrong. Like, it's hard to work on anything like
Yeah.
that. So you have to be open-minded and have enough self-awareness to know, like, maybe I'm lacking in this area of my life. So
Sure.
being honest and having an open mind with it and see it through. I think a lot of people get deterred from therapy, like when the experience is not kind of what they
What they
seen
thought it
on
was gonna
Netflix
be.
or something like that.
Yeah.
So just keep an open mind, and fit is important. You know, fit with the therapist. Like, there's many millions of therapists out here. And like, if like, I've had clients where like, I'm a person where I feel like I can talk to anybody, but that doesn't mean I'm the right fit for everybody. So I've met people where I can kind of tell initially, like, this probably ain't the best fit. But as a therapist, I hope everybody else is like this. I don't take that personally.
Sure.
I understand, like, we all have different needs or anything like that. So
Yep.
try to find the right fit. Because I say that because somebody can meet somebody, the experience doesn't go how they thought it would, and they say, I'm not doing that again.
Like, ever.
Just
Yeah.
based off that
Yeah.
one
Yeah.
encounter.
Just off one that's like dating to me.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
like if I went on a date and it was terrible and I said I'm never dating again. Why would I do that?
Yeah.
Like, if I
Right.
want the happy ever after, family, all that, you got to get back on the horse and try it again. So
Yep.
it's kind of like with therapy. So just keep an open mind, be open, and really tap into like what you feel like you need to be the best version of yourself. And then fit is going to be the things that bring that together. So hopefully that goal is met.
Love.
And the second part, one more time. My memory's kind of bad.
Just relationship advice, just general
Yeah.
relationship advice.
So funny thing, this is a while back. Michelle Obama. I know y'all probably seen this. Like when she was talking about her and Barack that one time where she was like, you know, it's not always going to be 50-50. And like there were times where she couldn't stand Barack, but they made it through. Like, so I guess what I'm saying is like, it goes back to what I said. Communication is always going to be the most important thing.
Yeah.
And understanding and see it through. I'm not saying if it's a terrible situation to be there forever, but also don't quit too early without doing the work.
Yeah.
Now, by all means, if you've done the work and it ain't working, that may be a different story. But
Yeah.
I think communication, work together. Like, I think partnership is the perfect word for a relationship, in my opinion.
Yep.
Because like we are two different people coming together to try to work as one.
Right.
So it takes like having that person as a partner. Like we
Yeah.
got to work together.
Yeah.
You know, so like I think me and my partner the other night, we it sounds stupid, but I was talking about getting a new couch. And like we started on two different planets about it. Like I had my idea, she had her idea.
Yeah.
But by the end of it, we came up with this total like a great plan.
Yeah.
And she always laughs because like the therapist in me, it comes out. I was like, now that is how you work together as a couple. That right there is called conflict resolution. Like I was joking, but I was kind of serious.
Right.
Where I was like, now that could have gone left.
Yeah.
Because I had my idea and I was strong with it. She had hers. Why don't we do this? Why don't we do that? But by the end, we were like, see. So I think working together, like we got to work together.
Yeah.
And if I'm so hell bent on my way and my thoughts and this and that,
Right.
it's gonna make it very hard to work with another person. So work together, communication, and I think you give yourself a chance at least.
100%.
Very
Yeah.
well said.
Dang. Perfect timing because
knew
the
that
camera
was
just
gonna
gonna die. Yeah, the camera just died. That's why I was trying to wrap it up too.
Yeah.
But good deal. Perfect way to end it. I can't top that.
Hey,
Told y'all we had a
Good
surprise for y'all, boy. You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna tell you this, man. Late night snackers, I enjoyed this. It actually went a lot faster than I thought it would. I'm sitting here.
I
I don't know about
know.
time wise, but in my head it did. But I really enjoyed this, man. I appreciate y'all for having me on for sure.
Of course.
Yeah, appreciate you coming through, man.
Yes,
You know?
thank you so much.
Yeah.
We loved having you. Hopefully, y'all took something away from this conversation. That is always our goal. That y'all take even if it's just one little sentence. I'm here for it. Take what you need. But
I enjoy having professionals as friends.
it's nice.
It's very liberating.
Very liberating.
He's stupid. He's stupid.
Alrighty, y'all. Thank you, Charlie, for coming on. Thank y'all for listening. If you are on Apple and Spotify, make sure you're following us.
And turn notifications on.
Turn the notifications on IG. We are back with the audio episodes, especially for this month. So make sure for sure you are tapped in with the Spotify and the Apple. If you are on YouTube, apologies. I feel like this happens every time.
Yeah, it does.
The last couple minutes, y'all don't see us. Sorry. All you hear is doo-doo. But yeah, apologies for that. But make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Make sure you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you liked anything, took away anything, wanted to discuss something further, leave it in the comments. We'd be more than happy to discuss. But yeah.
Oh, also, really quick, Charlie, if you want to shout out your podcast,
Yes.
your IG, where can they reach you at?
Yes,
Oh,
where
yeah,
can
I
they find you? Plug
appreciate
yourself
that.
in.
Yeah, man. I'm about to say if any questions, any more therapy stuff, man. I love talking to people about therapy, or because I have so many people ask me like where to go. So anytime I can point somebody in the right direction. But the Right State of Mind podcast is the pod on IG. Right State of Mind pod is where you can find me. So appreciate any support.
Woo!
All right.
Alrighty, y'all. Go tap in with him. Make sure you stay tapped in with us, and we will see y'all next Wednesday.
All right, y'all, take it easy.
Bye.